Let's keep things moving here on the program. We're joined by a gentleman, as a matter of fact, in his seventh season in the National Football League, all with Washington. The Commanders' big win over Tampa, going to take on Detroit in the divisional round of the playoffs. As we're joined by special teamer and safety Jeremy Reaves here on the program. What's going on, Jeremy? Welcome to the program.
I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. Got to start here. Big win in Tampa on the road against the Buccaneers. The team played well, got the big win. Your thoughts?
Um, you know, I won't say we played well. We did enough to win. That was the big thing I could probably take away from that game. But it was complimentary on all sides of the ball, right? Special teams, offense, defensively. And so I don't think it was our best game, but I think it was good enough to win. And just now we gotta, obviously piggyback off of the good things that we did do and try to eliminate some of the things that we didn't do well, and go into this game with the same mindset, which is to win.
Man, let me take you back a couple of weeks ago. I got to ask you. I don't think I knew this. I was at the game against Atlanta,
Hmm.
and of course, you proposed to your girlfriend,
Yeah.
right? Made national headlines. I mean, watching you see the smile on your face.
Mhm.
Um, what were you? Was that? Were you planning to do that? What went into it in terms of doing it at that moment?
So I mean, I had it for a few weeks. I had the ring for a few weeks, and I was just basically, kind of waiting on the timing to like do it. I didn't know when, and I didn't know how I was gonna do it, and I kind of wish low key I would have done it the Philly game, but the ring wasn't there, so I just told Alexis, our player engagement person, I was like, hey, listen, like, bring the ring with you. Like, we win this game, it's gonna happen, because that was the thing. Like, we had to win. My fiance, she knows how I am, and I know how I am. And if we don't win or if I don't play well, I'm usually in a bad mood for 24 hours. So it was only going down on a win, and we all the guys, once they found out, they're like, look, we definitely got to win this game now. So it was a really cool moment, man. It was a special moment.
Man, you could have done it any number of these last 6, 7 weeks. The team has been. I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. What you're saying about Tampa. Okay, maybe didn't. Yeah. Okay, maybe didn't play your best. But man, this team wins football games. It's like the cardiac kids. It seems to always come down to the wire, right?
Mhm.
Can you speak to how really the team has played over the last 6 or 7 weeks?
I mean, the one word I can use to describe the group is just resilient. I mean, I always say, and I think a lot of people in this building believe November, December football is where it counts the most, right? Like, that's where you get down to the nitty gritty of the season. It's easy to start off hot and then kind of simmer down towards the end of the year, but you want to be playing your best ball going towards the end of the year, because that's where teams kind of separate themselves. And so this group's just been, scratching tooth and nail, right? Like, it's just the understanding of what it takes to win in this league, and how it's going to take everybody involved. It's all hands on deck, and this group just epitomizes that, right? It's just everybody's kind of played their part, and bought into their role. And when you have a bunch of group of guys that believe in each other and believe in the message that's being preached every day, you get results like that. I saw a statistic where it was like our last 3 or 4 games have come down to like the last play, which is crazy to think about. But it just goes to show the group, right? You're never out of a fight. You're never out of a game. You just got to keep going forward, no matter how bad the last play, the last series, the last quarter was. It's about the next play in front of you.
Jeremy Reaves, special teams specialist and safety for the Washington Commanders, joins us here on the program. I got to tell you, I'm a DMVer.
Mhm.
Grew up. You can tell by the little while. I mean, I was there. Remember the team during the glory days. With
Mhm.
Joe Gibbs and all of that, and the Super Bowls and all that. Speak to. It seems like the city's on fire, man. Can you speak to that and really on fire? I mean, the city lives and dies by this team, generally speaking. But
Right.
now that the team is doing what it's doing, it seems like the city's on fire.
Yeah, man. I actually said on social media the other day that it's just been a sleeping giant that was woke up, right? Like, this team has awoken a city that's been waiting on just something for years. I mean, I've been here 7 years, and they've just been waiting, right? Like just, and it's been going on long before that, right? And so what you see now is just a product of everything that's happened this year, and like the fans are finally like, wow, we got what we've been waiting for. Because I mean, most people had us win 6 games, I think, at the beginning of the year, right? Like there wasn't a lot of optimism outside of the building about what we would do, but we knew in the building what we were gonna do. And so this fan base has just been awakened, man, and it's been a giant. That game last week felt like a home game almost. It was crazy the amount of people that were there, but it's been cool, man. Just to and like one of the coolest things for me just to see is just like, these fans deserve that, right? They've been through a lot. They've been through a lot, and people in the DMV. You said you're from the DMV. You guys been through a ton, and so just to kind of get the fruits of your rewarding the patience of it all, and just to kind of see it unfold in front of you with this quarterback and his new staff and his team in general, right? Like it's really cool to see, because I've been here pretty much through every phase in the 7 years. I've been This is my third team name. This is my third coaching staff. This is my second owner. So yeah, I've kind of seen it all unfold myself a little bit. So just to see like right where it started and where it's at now, like I'm probably happier for the people that have been pulling for this team their entire lives than I am for myself, because they deserve it, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I was in Tampa. It had to be 25 to 35% Commanders fans in that stadium, which is crazy. Um,
Yeah.
you know what's interesting to me for you? You've been through some ups and downs as a professional, and can talk a little bit more about that. I'm sure you've had other opportunities to go other places, perhaps to sign as a free agent. What has made you stick and want to stick in Washington?
Simple, man. Um, I'll take you back even further, right? Like when I was in college, before all this transfer portal mess was happening, right? Um, my I was going to be a grad student my senior year, and I had a teammate that left, and he went to a Power Five program, and they were really interested in me because I'd been playing well. I was pretty much a 3-year starter at that point, and they were interested in me coming to play with them. And I was like, you know, no, I'm a big believer in like right when you start something, you finish it. And you don't run from things just because it's tough or uncomfortable, right? Like that's most of the time you're most when you're gonna do most of your growing. And so I had tons of times, right? I was cut 4 times in my first 4 years. So I was cut every year my first 4 years in the league, right? And like I had teams that wanted me to come sign and all of that, but like it was the point where like God put me through this for some reason. I don't know why right now, and I don't know what it's for. And yes, it's uncomfortable, and yes, it sucks, and yes, it's frustrating, and every emotion you could probably think of. But there's something on the end of this, right? And so I just stuck it out, right? I think adversity builds character. I kind of live by that, and I live by process over product, right? You got to go through your process, whatever that may be, and sometimes it's the waiting game, right? Like sometimes you it's patience and it's time and it's all the things that naturally as a human that aren't comfortable for you that lead to where you're supposed to be at. And so that's why I stayed, man, and that's why I was able to overcome all of those setbacks. And I get to the point where once I was given the opportunity, because I always knew once I was given the opportunity to go show what I could do, I was gonna go do that, right? I never lost doubt in myself, right? It was just a point of like I'm having to wait so long. So once that opportunity came, man, I ran with it and I haven't looked back. So that was really the biggest thing.
Very well said. Jeremy Reaves of the Washington Commanders joins us here on the program for a couple of more moments. Let me take you back a little bit as well. 2022,
Mhm.
when you were named All Pro, for I guess the Washington football team, I guess is what it was called, if I remember correctly. I can't keep at the time, right? And you went into Ron Rivera's office, the coach at that time, and I don't know what you were thinking. Maybe you were thinking something because you had been through so much.
Mhm.
Just through that particular moment when Coach Rivera told you you were All Pro, going to the Pro Bowl, and then what that meant to you.
Uh, at first, I'm not gonna lie to you. I got so much PTSD from being cut. I thought I was getting cut. it I like programming wise, like I've always like if I'm getting called into front office, like the front office or the head coach, usually I've gotten cut or something is about to happen. That's probably not going to be good for me. So like, and my first initial reaction was like, "What do you mean?" Like I'm like, "No way, I'm about to get cut." But at the same time, I'm like, it's week like 17, and I'm playing. I'm like the top in the NFL in special teams tackles. Like, there's no way I'm about to get cut right now. I played like great ball. So I was genuinely confused. I had no idea what I was going in there for. I had no idea what was coming. I just was like, I'm all right. So I walk in there and he lays the news on me, and like the first reaction was like, because that same year I lost my mother that same year, and so like, or the year before, I'm sorry, I lost my mother, and so like the first reaction was like just just gratitude, right? And like I was filled with it, and it was shocking, and it was like the tears, obviously, like it was everything because like you go through so much, right? And you go through, and like this business is such a small window, right? It's a tiny window, and a lot of times guys can just miss that window, and so just to be able to persevere through the things that I had went through and to never give up and to keep putting my best foot forward every day, no matter how I felt or how bad the situation was, and to come out on the other side of it, it was just great things come to those who work and who wait. And every emotion you could possibly think of in that moment I had, right? I was thinking about my mom and just how I know how she'd be so proud of me. And I was thinking about just all the tough things that I went through and all the nights where, I was up late just wondering like, God is just really for me. And everything that you could possibly think of a human reaction, I went through it. And yeah, man, that was just a real raw moment of just, you know, when you come out on the other side, you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you actually get to that light at the end of the tunnel. Like that's what that was, man. It was I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. It was it was crazy start of it, but the end of it, I'll never forget it. That was a really really blessed moment for me in my life.
Yeah, and it's great because that was the first time in your career that you had made a 53-man roster coming into, like you said, if you look at the history, it's been like, okay, you're waived or cut or whatever, then you resign the next day with this team. So
Mhm.
that was good to see that happen for you. Two last thoughts. How special of a player is Jayden Daniels?
What you see on TV is who he is, right? Like he epitomizes everything that you want in a player, right? Focused, great guy in the locker room, great person out of the building, ultimate competitor. Just if you watch him, which most people do, you don't think he's a rookie, right? He just doesn't carry himself as a rookie. He's just got the ultimate poise, man, and like he's a dude, right? When I think of like just guys that love ball and guys that love to compete and winners, like he's one of the first dudes that come to mind, man. He's got the whole thing, and like it's been really cool to see because at his position you don't see it a lot where guys just come in off the back and they're just automatically ready. But he's got that it factor to him, man, and he's a great dude, man. Like that's like the little bro to me. So me and him, we give each other slack all the time, but he keep me young, I should say. But
What's
he's a
wrong
good.
with him? I mean,
He,
28's not old.
in this business, that's old, brother. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Wow.
Uh, but nah, man, he's a great kid, man, and he's got so much ahead of him at the end of the day because he's going by God's will, and that's what he believes, right? And he follows that compass, and he doesn't shift from it, and the results you see on the weekends is because of that.
Last thought, Jeremy. We appreciate the time. Your thoughts on
Mhm.
the Lions and going into Detroit on Saturday.
It's a great team, man. I mean, obviously the resume speaks for itself, man. They are a very complete team. The cool thing about it is it'll be a great test for us, right? Like we view ourselves as a complete team. We view ourselves as a team that can go after and go play against anybody, right? And so it'll be nice for us to go out there and go play good football, man, and just put our best foot forward. I know they're going to come ready to compete. Coach Campbell over there does a great job with them. Coach Phip, special teams wise, I was with him in Philly for a while. I know how he's wired, so they're they're ultimate competitors over there, man, and we are too. So it's gonna be fun on Sunday, man. I'm super excited. Right, this is uncharted territory for me. So I'm all juiced up for this one.
Sounds great. Jeremy Reaves, again in his 7th season in the National Football League, all with Washington. He's a special team specialist, All-Pro in 2022, also a safety for the Commanders. Again, the Commanders going to be in Detroit on Saturday, taking on the Lions. Jeremy, appreciate the time. Continued success to you and the Commanders.
Thank you. I appreciate that.